Attachment is the action of time and space. Hence, the brain has no option but to get, because the brain is time and space. The only thing that the brain can do is to get attached. That is how it has developed so far, by getting attached. What is attachment? We'll understand through a few examples. You bring any two materials together for a long period of time and close together in space. Do you know what happens? You bring iron and cobalt, a block of iron and a block of cobalt together. You keep them together for long periods of time and close together in space. What happens? For 10 years you keep them together. For 20 years. What will happen? What will happen? Somebody used the word, yes. And what will that do? They will become one. That is attachment. They get attached to each other. That's what human brain is like. Anything that it remains close to, and anything that it remains close to for a long period of time, space and time, it gets attached to that. Nothing more than that. Simple, direct. Since the day you were born, what have you been close to? Even more than parents, you have been close to something else. What is that? Your own body. So you are the most attached to your body. And there is nothing deep or complex about it. It is just the property of material. To become attached, a kid is born. For 2 years, you keep him very close to a wall. Very close to a wall. You feed him near the wall. You keep him near the wall. Wherever he goes, let there be a wall. He will become very, very attached to that wall. In fact, so attached that if the experiment is conducted properly, he will start saying, I am this wall. I am this wall. That's the law of brain. That's how the brain operates in time and space. And attachment is the action of time and space. Long time, attachment. Close together, attachment. You could as well express it as a mathematical formula. Do you see this? We do not know the values of K, N and M, but what we know is that attachment is directly proportional to the length of time and inversely proportional to space. That much is certain. For sure it is certain. Getting it? Now, how does this flow into the rest of these? How does this flow into the rest of these? Simple. We said the child lives too close to anything and he starts identifying himself with that. You start identifying with your body. What's your name? Devendra. Yes, Devendra. Respond to my question. Devendra, please respond. Awkward to look there and speak to them, right? Right? Even offensive. Don't try it with your girlfriends. There was no real problem because Devendra could easily hear me. It's just that I was looking the other way. My voice was clear and audible. Still, it sounds awkward. It looks awkward. Why? Because Devendra has come to believe that he is that figure inside the skin bag. There is this skin bag, and the thing inside that is called Devendra. So if I don't look at the skin bag, he feels awkward, annoyed. Are you getting it? You have started saying that I am this. You have gathered a deep belief that I am this. I am the area, the volume contained within my skin. I am the volume contained within my skin. Getting it? Why? For the simple reason of getting it? This thing is called identification. This I am this is called identification. I am this is called identification. Make this, draw this. I am X is called identification. In our mind, there exist not one or two identities, but several of them, hundreds of them, right? In fact, our mind is a sum total of all these identities. Getting it? You are a male, an Indian, an aspiring engineer, a son or a daughter, this and that, handsome, something. There are a lot of adjectives that you have associated with yourself. I am XYZ, ABC, ad infinitum. An infinite series of identities is what has been created in the mind. All these identities are coming from attachments. Are you getting it? Getting it? So attachment leads to identities. Identities. This I am coming under foreign influences is called the ego. You have done the ego bit. Did it clearly say that all the foreign influences on your mind, that is what the ego is? That much you have done, right? That ego comes from the outside. You are told of this, you are told that. Society tells you something, religion tells you something, ideology tells you something, teachers, friends, peers, media, corporations, books, they all have been pouring stuff into you. This is that stuff. This is ego. I am, this I am getting associated with all. Is this becoming clear? Is this becoming clear? Ego. I am this. I am this. And each single one of them is called an identity. Together they constitute the person. I am X. Out of the I am X, the I am part is called the ego. Of course, I am is never alone. Our I am is never alone. Whenever we say I am, there is always an object following the I am. Do you ever say I am? You say I am living. I am a Sikh. I am a student. I am an Indian. You never say I am. There is always an object associated with I am. This is called the ego. That object is always external. That you have bounded yourself to a foreign influence. This is what is called the ego. Are you together? Are you with me on this? Yes? Plus, I have deeply bounded this that I am. And again, when I say this, I do not mean the body. It is just symbolic. To a foreign thing. This process is the process of ego. Ego. Getting it? And the sum total of all these falsenesses is what constitutes our person and his personality. So, attachment, identity, ego, person. What is the personality? Nothing but a sum total of all these lies, utter lies. Getting it? Is this becoming clear? What is not yet becoming clear is the implication of this upon the way you live, upon your life, right? That is not becoming clear. Because this, if understood, would mean that a lot of our beliefs are totally misplaced. That our ways of existing, living, decision making are deeply flawed. And it's good news that we are learning that they are deeply flawed. Why is it good news? Because after you learn that something is flawed, then you can correct it. If you do not know that you have cancer, then you will surely. So that diagnosis is painful, but it saves your life. The diagnosis is painful, but it saves your life. Getting it? Yes? Alright, your questions now.
Sir?
Yes.
So even after so much of this, whatever you have discussed,
Yes.
many people must not be knowing all this, but still they are living life, and many of them are happy also, according to their terms. So how can we find happiness?
Yeah. You see, we said, let's look at this. You can be awake, or you can dream that you are awake. Correct? You can be awake, or you can dream that you are awake. Even when you are dreaming that you are awake, you are confident that you are awake. Are you getting it? In your position where you are, and as you are, by yourself, you will never know what reality is. You say that people are still happy. Let's try to understand that. What makes a terrorist happy? What makes a religious man happy? What makes a sex maniac happy? What makes an ambitious man happy? So your happiness is nothing but the conditioning of your mind. What is the worth of such happiness? There is no happiness in this. This is known as pleasure. This is known as pleasure. Just pleasure. Had it been real happiness, it would not have depended upon an external object. Have you ever noticed how all these people that you are claiming to be happy, firstly, depend upon an external object or event to be happy? They depend upon an external object or an event. If something happens, then I will be happy. Second, their happiness is always very, very temporary. Because if it is coming from the outside, then it can be taken back by the outside. It will be taken back by the outside. But then they will remain under the illusion that this is it till the time reality does not give them a shock. Till the time reality does not give them a shock. For example, the man who is dreaming that he is awake is bound to get a reality check sooner than later. You cannot remain asleep all your life. You may keep dreaming that I am awake, but reality will punish you for that. Existence will punish you for that. You sleep for too long, and when you will wake up, then you will surely repent. And you cannot keep sleeping all your life. You have to wake up. Waking up is your nature. Waking up is your nature. So better wake up right now. The more you delay it, the more painful it will be to wake up. In fact, it becomes so painful for so many people that even after they wake up, what do? They keep their eyes closed and we have slept for so long. Now waking up only reminds me that I have wasted my life. So what do? But then you can't sleep all the time. You can't sleep all the time. You will have to wake up.